Other questions? All right, let me quickly get into using experts to resolve mass claims in the 4 minutes that I'm going to take, that I have left. All right. There are benefits. Like I mentioned, that my work has been for exterior cladding manufacturers since 1996. And so what Roy and I did, the reason we were involved in that Don's Building Supplies, we had about, for one distributor, about 50 houses in Dallas, and for somebody else, about 75 houses in Houston. And what we do is we get the same expert. We find the best expert that we can find. We've got one in Houston and one in LA, which is short for Lower Alabama, where our other pet expert is. And we've got a protocol. And so each investigation starts out with that being the presumption that that's the way it's going to be used. And the first point I want to make is it eliminates variation. We find out, we know kind of what we need to know in order to report back to the carrier the same things every time. And so not having to reinvent the wheel is very useful. It also reduces communication. We don't have to spend a lot of time back and forth talking about what we need or what have you seen. We just get the same type of report. Another aspect that I didn't put up here is increased loyalty. By having an expert who recognizes there's going to be a volume of business and that you've developed a relationship with, you can call on them when you need them, and they're very responsive. Or at least the two that we use in that capacity are extremely responsive. And then also you avoid the effort and time and cost associated with finding a new one. Like for us, with having had cases in 26 states, if we found a new expert in every state, then it would be expensive, and we might not be able to find one that would say what we want him to say. And so that's a little bit of an issue. The one exception that I will say on this is when it comes to the cost to cure, we want a local contractor with credibility that could go testify, I'll do the job for this. Not trying to lowball the damages, but we want somebody that we can say, this is what the case is worth, because we know that universally the plaintiff's expert is going to give a number that's probably 2 or 3 times the cost to repair. So the next, very quickly, the other benefits are actually the experts don't always know it all, and the professional literature changes. And so to have an expert that you're working with constantly and he can keep himself up to date and learning is very useful. And similarly to that, developing his ability to respond after they've been deposed repeatedly, they really understand where everything's coming from. And so I'm at the risk of boring you, one of my favorite experts, the one from Houston, I had him in a case in San Francisco that was 2 14-story buildings covered with EIFs. And the EIFs manufacturer was the target defendant. And the cost to cure was something like $12 million. And my guy testified, and the plaintiffs took from us $125,000 to get out of that case. It was so surprising that we drew a motion to set aside our settlement that it must be in bad faith because it was so low, which the judge denied. And essentially what happened was that expert was so good and he explained it so well that the plaintiffs didn't think they could win, and they settled very inexpensively. Well, that was 1997 or 98. I'm still using that guy. He's phenomenal. And unless he's unavailable, in which case I use my other guy who's equally great. He's a PhD, taught construction science at Auburn, and he was a son of a general contractor and he practiced engineering. So, once you find somebody like that, it's great. And my point is, using the same people when you've really got a great one, it pays great dividends.